Constable Morison served honorably in Mansfield's law enforcement, off and on for over 30 years, beginning in 1881, 9 years before Mansfield became incorporated. Now, he was considered by many as a model lawman with an even temperament. He was firm, fair, and impartial in his treatment of others. In 1913, Morison suffered an injury that made walking difficult and riding a horse nearly impossible. He, however, continued to perform his duties, including single-handedly taking down a gang of bank robbers trying to hold up the First State Bank of Mansfield. Now, all of this he did at the ripe old age of 61. Now, in 1916, Mansfield was a dry town with a bootlegging problem. Lee Dalton, a newcomer to Mansfield, had opened a cold drink stand on Main Street that sold alcohol under the table. Now, Dalton's bootlegging gang included Marvin Doc Graves and his ringleader, Claude Wampus Patterson. Now, Constable Morison, he hated bootleggers, and Wampus became his special target for harassment. Although the constable never caught Wampus with the alcohol, he threatened to arrest him multiple times and vowed to run him out of town. Now, Patterson saw this as a personal vendetta against him and in turn threatened to kill Constable. On the morning of November 8, 1916, things came to a head. Around 9:30 in the morning, Constable Morison and Wampus Patterson had another run-in. Morison threatened to arrest him again, and Patterson replied, "Well, you're going to have to get a warrant to do that." Now, Constable Morison was obviously upset, and he was heard to say, "By Granny, I'll kill you then," as he walked off. That was the last straw for Patterson. He tried to buy a shotgun at the hardware store, but he didn't have enough money. So instead, he went to the pawn shop and he rented one. Now, about 11:30, Morison was shooting the breeze with his friends, Joseph Pritchard and Joe Yates, across the street from Dalton's shop. Patterson and his gang spotted Morison through the window. Now, the street was busy. It had farmers and stockmen, and nobody seemed alarmed when Patterson walked down Main Street with a shotgun. Now, Constable Morison's group didn't notice until it was too late. Pritchard saw Patterson and he shouted a warning. Patterson growled at Pritchard, "Don't you move or I'm gonna blow your head off." Then Patterson said, "Get out of the way, Uncle Joe. You and Mr. Yates." The men had no choice but to leave, and Constable Morison was left alone to face an armed Wampus Patterson. Now, Constable Morison, well, he knew he didn't have a chance. He didn't have a weapon, and he was too old, too slow, and too crippled to grapple with his assailant. His only hope was to run away. Now, he'd never run from a fight, but he didn't have a choice. Morison turned to run, but he only got a few steps before Patterson shot him down square in the back. Patterson went back to Dalton's shop, where he was later arrested without incident by the town marshal, John Harrison. Now, several men did carry Constable Morison to a nearby house. There, he eventually died, becoming the first Tarrant County constable to die in the line of duty. He was buried here, right here, in the Mansfield Cemetery on November 9th, 1916. Some say Constable Morison still walks Main Street, performing his duties and keeping the people of Mansfield safe. That scum, Wampus Patterson, well, he was eventually tried and convicted 5 times for Constable Morison's murder. His sentence, after numerous appeals, went from life in prison to 25 years. He finally began serving his time in 1920, only to be pardoned in 1931, leaving Constable Morison a victim 2 times over.